Good afternoon, Flosstube friends. It is October 31st, Halloween Day or All Hallows Eve, and it is a gorgeous day here in North Texas. Not too warm, not too windy, just beautiful. I hope this light will not be too much sun for you to see good colors and stitches, but it's been a while. I'm glad to be back. We've had some interesting weeks, and now we are coming up on holiday time. Time has flown, and I hope you are well and that your fall or spring, I guess, down in the southern hemisphere is going well. We have celebrated a renewal of wedding vows for one of our daughters, and we are eagerly anticipating the arrival of another grandchild. So some very happy times. We've had some family down, some issues that we wish we had not had to deal with, but we are rejoicing now in the good news that we are looking forward to that new life and the special celebration of the wedding of the daughter and her husband, and hoping soon to see some of the grandchildren who have moved out of state. Just lots going on, as always it seems. My work has been very busy. We have not been able to replace a couple of the people who left, so those of us who are there are doing all kinds of extra tasks, but that's okay. It's good to keep our brains active, right? I'm struggling a little bit today. I think it may be a sinus infection with the season changing, and it happens to me occasionally. So if I sound a little tired or a little hoarse, it may be that that's what I'm dealing with today, but no stress. I had to get in here to see you, to show you some new things and a little bit of stitching progress. I have not had my normal stitching bug, and I think it's because we have been busy with goings on. We did have a son who has moved to his professional job in another city. We've been helping him with that move. So, just a lot going on, and my stitching got relegated to the end of the day, after work, after chores, after everything else. And that does not always give me more of a stitchy bug if I'm tired. I just kind of fade away and go to bed early. But I want to show you what I have, and we can talk a little bit about some goals. First, I want to remind you of my Owl Forest embroidery. This is one I would love to finish sooner rather than later. It is called Sweet Home. This is a kit that I had wanted and wanted and wanted, and got my husband to order it, probably 9 months ago, but I've made really good progress, and I think since the last time you saw it, I have made some progress. If you remember, their floss is variegated. It comes with the kit. The fabric also is a beautiful linen, comes with the kit. And maybe in this sunlight you can see the variegation a little better than the last time we were together. The part that I have done since we were together is this section here, the kitchen shelf and cabinet. Just such lovely motifs. And as I say on every video when I talk about this piece, it is wonderful stitching. Just wonderful stitching. And of course my favorite, the woman stitching in the middle with the little dog. But just the house, all the motifs that you see. I still love that teapot motif. And of course the sewing machine. So Owl Forest, Sweet Home, I am hoping to just keep moving forward on this one. Once all the center motifs are done, I'll have to do that house border all around. We'll see how long that takes. But lots of fun. This is a 32 count linen, I believe. Then I pulled out the Mill Hill kit that I had brought from the store in Denver, Colorado, called A Stitching Shop. And you remember I had such a wonderful experience there. This kit is called Country Lane. It is buttons and beads. And you remember I chose it because of the gorgeous colors and the fall foliage and the bunny button there at the bottom. This was supposed to be my lunchtime stitch at work, but often I don't have time to pull that out. But this week I just focused on how many stitches could I get in to encourage me to move forward, and it's working out well. I did this whole section up here, and I think I've done a little bit down here since you saw it last. That tree is going to be just beautiful up there. So it will not be on display for this fall, but another one that I would love to see a finish on. I'm ready to put that little bunny right there where you see that space. Lots of fun. And again, this will be the finish. Try to hold that still for you. Looking forward to that. A small frame in our living area would be such a good autumn display. I'm looking forward to having that ready. Then you know that I have a couple of Longdog samplers on the go. And the one I was really focusing on is called Dank Worth. Well, there is something about this design that keeps giving me trouble. I love it. I never will stop loving it. It was chosen because I wanted to stitch the unicorns after our first visit to Scotland, where we saw so many unicorns in city architecture, on buildings, on fountains. But people, I spend more time ripping out on this one than I do putting stitches in. This is the finished piece. So you can see that it's a band sampler. And you see there are 4 unicorns in the piece. And a lot of lovely medieval, I think they're medieval motifs. I'm not even sure what my problem is on this piece, but let me show you what I've done. I could not face this band right now because this is the one I had to rip out that was miscounted, and I'm just gonna save it till last. I don't see any other way to do that. But I did finish the top band. Maybe you saw that, I can't really remember. I decided to come on down here, and I believe I've done this band since you saw me last, and then I decided to go down here. These went in without any problem at all, thank goodness. But this poor unicorn, I don't know what it is. I had the wrong brown for a while, that had to be ripped out. Then I had the wrong pink, I had more of a lavender. But he is, I think, almost finished. We have one more leg coming here and a little bit of fill in right here. Whew. And then I will go, I think, across this band. If I finish this unicorn, maybe tonight or sometime this week, I think I will just go ahead and do the basket that's here in the middle that's very similar to this. Let me show you that again. Right here. And I can do the gold motif in the middle. And then, oh goodness, I'll have to do the mirror image of that unicorn. But look at these rich, beautiful colors. And this is just DMC, people. Although I love DMC. I don't want to call it just DMC. This is a linen that I got at my local needlework store, and I am doing 1/2 on a 36 count. I don't know the color, but it's just an off-white linen. But I want to see this complete and framed. It is one of my favorite designs. But anyway, there's something about it that just keeps giving me trouble. I will not give up, I promise, but I just want to get it finished. Then we took a road trip when we went to the wedding celebration, and you know, in the car sometimes you need a bigger count fabric to get your stitching done. So this was one of the kits that my husband had ordered from Cobweb Designs. We have not seen Monet's Garden, but it is on our list. It is one of the places in Europe that I must see before I die, Lord willing. And this sampler is just so lovely. The colors, the way they've shown the garden. So I took this with me on the road trip, and I got a little done. I can't say that I got a lot done, but I'm going to show you. It is on the 14 count, I believe they call it oatmeal Aida. So what you're seeing is the top of the house, and of course Monet's name, and then the beginning of the border on the side. Let me hold this up so you'll be able to see how big it's going to be. It is not huge, of course. Sorry for those wrinkles. So this is just going to continue to be a car project. It is restful stitching, just so restful. And these kits, I believe, use anchor floss, but the colors always turn out very beautifully. So I'm not unhappy at all with the start. And you remember, I have a couple, maybe 3 more of these already finished. And someday we will frame them to be on a wall near each other. We have the one from, oh my goodness, I'm so blank, Peter Rabbit. We have Beatrix Potter. We have Mary Queen of Scots. Those are finished. Then our Ruby Anniversary sampler, which is a smaller one. I believe it's 5 by 7. Was there another one? I have the one from Edinburgh. Have I finished that one? My brain. And then we have the one from Glasgow, Scotland, which I have not started. That one is still in my stash, but we've had conversations about these samplers before. They are so much fun. Website, customer service, superior. I endorse them. Now, in our Needlework Guild, we have what is called a magic list. And at the beginning of the year, we're supposed to put projects on the list that we hope to finish in the course of the year. Well, the program chairman sent out a reminder about magic list, and here the year is coming to an end. People, I have not worked on, much less finished, my 3 items that were on my magic list. So I'm going to be a failure this year, but I pulled this one out because it is the smallest, and it will still be a favorite. Heartstring Samplery, new every morning. That verse that I love so much, and that gorgeous basket of flowers. But again, this is a project that I continue to have difficulty with. The first difficulty was that this is 36 count linen, and somehow when I started working on it, I just blanked about that and ended up using 2 strands of floss instead of 1. Well, now that I'm looking at it, I don't mind that. I actually like the coverage because the colors look so bright and beautiful. But there for a while, I put it aside thinking, oh, this just won't do. I need to restart it with 1/2. But I'm not doing that, people. I'm just not. So I worked a little bit on the flowers that go here below. And then there were some counting errors on the basket, but I started some work on the basket last week. And I also started the border right up here. So you'll have this motif over and over around the border, which is a lovely stitch, but I got it finished that night and realized that this is the wrong color. It's almost a yellowish green, and it calls for just a light green. So I'm letting it sit there for a few more days before I decide if I want to keep the yellowish green. My daughter said she liked it because of the golds and yellows down here. But I've got to decide if I want those leaves all around the motif of the flowers in the basket. When I get to the point where I can count down from the basket, I would love to go ahead and do the verse within its little box, which is done 1/1. So it will be teeny tiny. The whole piece is not even that big. Sometimes I wonder about my stitching. But it will be a treasure. It will not be finished in time for the New Year Magic List, but it did get me to bring it out and work on it a little bit in the last few weeks when I received that email. Next year, I will do better. My husband had found at Michael's on a trip over there looking for a frame this sweet little needlepoint kit, Dimensions, and he knows how much I love the blues, and of course my mother loved butterflies, as does one of my daughters. So on another road trip, a short one, where we were just going to be in the car 2 or 3 hours, I pulled this kit out and I just got a little frustrated because I don't have a needlepoint frame, I believe they call it. So I tried, let me get my white paper. I'm sorry I'm scattered today. Goodness. Oh, here it is. I tried to put this in my Q-snap, hoping that that would give me better tension as if it were a needlepoint frame. But I need more felt because I got it tight here and here, but it's still loose here. But anyway, I just played a little bit with some of the blue stitches up here. When I get this tension the way I want it, I'm going to keep working on this and see how my needlepoint skills go. You know that stocking I had worked on many months ago, I never was pleased with my tension because it was not on a needlepoint frame. So I'm thinking, as tight as I can get this, maybe I can get this to look the way I want it to. I would love to make this into a small pillow for our bedroom, and then we went on and purchased the companion piece, which is the Dragonflies, because I think those together would be so lovely in our bedroom, which is blue, even on the bed with other shams and so forth. I think I could find a coordinating fabric that would just make for lovely cushions. So here's the way the kit comes before it's open. And those colors are just our colors. I wanted to be sure to show you the ones that come with the butterflies. I've shown you before, I think. Okay, so here is one thread organizer of those gorgeous colors. Sorry. And then we have a lot of the green. Let me try to hold that up. Isn't that beautiful? And then we have this other card with some of the darker colors and more of the green. Let me try to show you that. So just gorgeous colors. I just have to figure out my technique for those, but I really would love to have those to enjoy in our living space. So we'll see if I figure this tension out with more felt. I could only put my hands on 2 small pieces. I know I have some more. I just have to find it in the drawer. But look at those butterflies. How sweet. Then I have a new toy. I had ordered, well, it's a new lap stand because I wanted a stand that would hold Q-snaps. My other lap stand or seated stand is a hoop of its own. I wanted one that would either hold hoops or Q-snaps, and this hoop is the one I had bought as a traveling hoop that had the other little hoop under it, and it made a stand. I believe it's by Morgan, but it gets really good tension. So the stand I ordered was Kay's Creations. It's actually made in Texas, and this is my new toy. And I have used it exclusively since it came. Now, kudos to my daughter who figured out how to put it together. Ha! Not me. But it has adjustable settings here, here, and here. This part is heavy enough to sit in your lap very steadily. And then if you can see, this part opens up to take your Q-snap or your hoop, and I've been using it lately with the hoop. So this just goes right in there. Any hoop will fit. And you just tighten it the way you want it, which has been lovely. And look at this, how that will just go any way you want it. Just a tiny tightening. We're not sure if we have this screw in at the proper place, but it has worked well, so we're not touching it. I think it is in the proper place because it gives it an option of getting wider for your Q-snap. You have to go out very wide to get that Q-snap in there. But if you adjust on this part, it can come closer to you or go farther from you. And then even the one at the very bottom, if you loosen that, the whole thing can come toward you. It is just beautifully made. And I want to say it was under $65, maybe under $70, but for the way this wood is handled and the way this adjusts, it's worth every penny to me. I have loved working with it on all my projects. So K, the letter K, K's Creations, and I'm almost sure it was on Etsy. I think you need to order it on Etsy. Just fun to use and easy to store. If I were to travel with this, if it were a car trip, I think it could be folded down, and I know that this bottom part will come off. So that, well, it would have to be unscrewed. I guess we would just have to fold it down and put it in the trunk, but I think it would definitely travel in a car. So fun. One more toy for my stitching, but one that I had wanted. I had looked at Lowry stands, and I just did not need that much metal hanging around the house, trying to fit it under my stitching chair, and this just seems to serve the same purpose for me for the way I stitch. And it was a lot less expensive. So for my purposes, I am thrilled. And then as an alternate, or yeah, I guess that's the right word, I can use my beautiful seated wooden hoop. Hardwick Manor, I believe, is that hoop. Okay, now I have a book review, but I have one more stitching related thing to show you, and I am talking too much today. I apologize. I have never had the Book of Days, Needlework Press Book of Days, but I splurged and ordered this from my local needlework store. They had sold their first lot and had reordered, and when they came in, they put my name on it. My husband picked it up for me yesterday, and it is going to be in my stitching area so that at the beginning of the year, I can actually make notes of what I'm working on each day and notes for plans or projects that I want to work on that month. I haven't decided exactly how to use it, but this morning, since I was feeling a little yucky, I decided to pull out some stickers that I had purchased. They are William Morris art, and I have added some color to the Book of Days, and I will continue to do some decorating. I think the decorating is going to be the most fun. So each month I have put some color in. Mr. Morris was a British artist in the 1800s who was all about making your living space beautiful, which I love. So each month has some colorful stickers, and I think my favorite part is the quotes that she includes, and also the fact that you have a motif, a small one, at the top of each month. Look at this cute horse. And then at the back, you also have a page for designing something yourself, and then a page for contacts or websites that you want to check out. And right before that, and I'll try to show this without showing the patterns, some advanced planning for the next year. And I'm trying not to show you, but over here some vintage charts that you can use. So I am thrilled to have this in my hand and to get to play with it this morning. And I will keep you posted on how I decide to use each month's pages. I just attached this so that I could mark that first month when 2022 gets here. But this is from Needlework Press, and it is called The Book of Days. Of course, I love the vintage illustrations. So that's going to be fun for the new year. I'm excited. Very simple, but you can add your color, your ideas after you receive it the way you want to do it, which I think is a good feature. The book I'm recommending today, and if you're not into books, just click off right now. But I hope you'll enjoy this little short review. If you are going to click off, thank you for coming. If you're a return viewer, I appreciate you. If you're new, I hope you can come back to see me and like and subscribe. I often will give a short book review at the end of my videos because I work at a library. I am an all-time book lover and reader, and so I do like to share. This is a book called News of the World by Paulette Jiles. I would say it is historical fiction, but it was based on a true story. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but I want to tell you that this is a short little book, very quick to read, and you do not want to put it down once you start the story. Briefly, it tells of a young girl who had been kidnapped by Native American tribes back in the post-Civil War Texas during Reconstruction. And the man who is paid to return her to her original family when the Indians had to give up these captives. I'm not telling the story properly, but the book was made into a movie. You may have seen the movie. I have not. I believe Tom Hanks is the elderly man, the grandpa, who returns her to her family. But you see so much about Texas during that time of Reconstruction, about the struggles of not only the Native Americans, but the Europeans who had come in, family struggles, the violence that was going on at that time in what we would call the Wild West. And as you know, my favorite part, the character development of the grandpa and the young woman, the young girl, she was only 10, and the way they manage the situation, and then the way they grow closer and are able to embrace the life of the time in which they live. It is called News of the World because the gentleman, the grandpa, made his living by traveling all over Texas reading newspapers to the people who would come to his readings, pay a dime to come in and sit down and listen. And he would share news of the whole world. Whatever newspaper he could acquire, he would read them the news, whether it's London or another country in Europe, or even some of the news from Mexico, South America, and of course the news of the United States. So his job was to share that news all over Texas, and as he is traveling and doing this, he is taking this young girl back to her family near San Antonio, Texas, but a very long trip by horse and wagon from North Texas, I believe, all the way down to San Antonio. Just a keeper. I cannot wait to see the movie, but of course we have to read the book first. Paulette Jiles now has a ranch in the hill country of Texas, and I was supposed to go hear her speak. She was here in our city by the invitation of our library, but the night that she was speaking, I had had my COVID booster a few days before, and I could not move out of my house when I got home from work. So I missed her lovely engagement talking about her book. And I'm hoping if I can catch her anywhere else in our state in the next year or two, that I will go and hear her speak, because I know from reports of that program how delightful it was. So if you have any inkling of liking historical fiction, if you want to know anything about Reconstruction after the war between the states, or you're interested at all in Texas and history and geography here, you will love the book, but especially those characters. Let me let you go. It has been such a good visit. I hope you've gotten a few stitches in, had a little time to relax. I'll be back. I hope when I am back there will be more stitching and less chattering. But I want you to know how glad I am to be here and to look forward to seeing you again soon. Please come back when I get to post again. Let me hear from you what you're working on, what you're doing, how your fall or spring is going, and let's definitely chat again very soon. Please take care. See you soon.